Hey, it's Amy with Ask a Christian, and I could not help myself. I really wanted to answer a fun question today from a young person who says they're 17 years old, and they want to know if the Bible prohibits being a furry. So listen to this question. It says, "Hi, I'm 17-year-old. I'm a furry. I would like to know if the Bible has any information on if being a furry is a bad thing or not allowed. For clarification," which by the way, I appreciate this, Jay, is a subculture of people who like fictional animal characters with human characteristics. Furries may create anthropomorphic animal character or fursona that they identify with. They may also dress up as their fursona in elaborate costumes called fursuits. I don't bark or act like an animal. I only enjoy the community and enjoy seeing the creativity of other people along with the adorable fursuits. How could I resist this? Thank you so much. So, in response to Jay, I have a couple of questions for you. And by the way, I'm so glad you clarified with what a furry is because probably more people than just me associate furries with people who just use fursuits in sexual acts. By the way, I do have a video on that. It's totally age appropriate, so don't freak out. But yeah, the discussion here for me is not about um, necessarily a furry because, as you can imagine, there were no there were no furry conventions in Jerusalem, and it was not something that was really even probably on the minds of people writing the Bible and not things that they were dealing with. However, the Bible does deal with the identity question that I think is at the core of any concern people would have. So it's not whether or not you dress up or what you do in your costume. It's is who you were created to be elevated or pushed down in this situation? So that's my question for you, Jay. So here's what I wrote out. Sometimes we can get really immersed in hobbies or even communities, which it sounds like this is even more of a personal thing. Um, these things are fun and they, like you said, help us to appreciate creativity. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with finding a place to belong that's creative like that. Connecting with people over a shared interest is a great way to find joy, build community. We know that Jesus a lot. He focused a lot on building community, taking time to hang out with different kinds of people, learning their stories. And a lot of times, Jesus was hanging out with people that the mainstream didn't think was worthy. And so, if I just want to make sure you know that there's no judgment, and there doesn't seem to be any worry in the Bible about subcultures or knowing people and loving people who are kind of on the outskirts. What's key to remember, though, this is my concern for especially any young people that gets really, really into a hobby or subculture, is are you remembering who you are at your core? Are you remembering that you're someone who's valued just as you were made and loved by God just as you are? He has given you everything you need to have a life that's joyful and meaningful. So I want to make sure that within your hobbies, within your interests, within your furry community, you don't let that become your whole identity. You are still Jay. You still have things to do that God is sending you to do. And if for any reason you don't want to pursue a career or loving other centered relationships, or you are falling behind on the work that it takes to become a human being that can live on their own in this day and age, like if those things are going away and the hobbies are taking over, I don't care if it's video games or being a furry or being a cheerleader or sports, like things that are good can also take over. So those are my questions for you. Are you holding on to your God-given identity, and is your hobby highlighting it or pushing it down? So being part of the subculture could be a distraction if it defines you or starts to take place of who you are in Jesus. I would say it needs to be limited or cut down, get an accountability partner. But if it's not doing that, Jay, if it's truly an outlet for creativity, you're finding and meeting people that you're doing stuff with in and out of costume or fursona, then I think you could probably be the first like furry missionary, because God may be calling you to share his love and his acceptance inside of this community. And that would be amazing. Go for it. Keep God at the center. Remember, you are loved exactly as he made you. Find someone who knows you, to check in with every once in a while. And it sounds like this is probably something that is okay, is great, and you should enjoy. So those are my 2 cents. People who might know more about the furry communities and whatever, chime in, because I'm just learning alongside of you in this. So anyway, in case you didn't know, my name's Amy. This is what I do in my free time. I answer questions based on a biblical worldview. So if you have a question you want me to answer from the Bible, or as in this case, biblical principles, you can send me a question to askachristianfriend@gmail.com. And I'm super, super happy to take any of your questions. Just know, while I will hide your identity, some of your questions may be put on this YouTube channel as well. All right. Thank you so much. And thank you, friends, for saying hello. That's it for today, but I'm just going to read this feed to make sure I didn't skip a question. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Awesome Ace just says being a furry is an interest/hobby, so it really shouldn't take over things God sends you to do. Yeah, that's right. That's what I was thinking too, is that you can be on mission. And you know what? This is like, okay, here's the extended cut, right? There are people who wear like furry costumes and go about their life, and they, dress up or use their fursona as much as possible. And we think, oh, that's a little strange. But you know what's stranger is that normal humanity goes around pretending to be people that we aren't, and that God didn't make us like every day. So this is not a problem for people who wear physical costumes. This is a humanity problem. We're ashamed. We want to be other people, but let's all get our identity from Christ. Figure out who he made us to be. What did he make us good at? How can we love in the best way possible? And whether you wear a physical mask or you don't, strive to be the most authentic version of yourself that God made you. So, yep. Maybe it belongs on a guidance counselor's wall, but that's the advice for today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you with the next question. I may even have time to do another one today if my babysitter doesn't have to go home yet. See you later.